Hey, all, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mike Muldoon podcast. Hope you're having a good week. It's Friday. Well, at least it's Friday by the time you start listening to this. So hopefully going into the weekend, you got some good plans. I don't know what's on my plan. I don't know what's on my calendar. I haven't looked at it. Anybody's wife puts everything on their calendar. So I have to check my calendar, but I'm sure whatever it is, it'll be fun, right? I mean, I'm healthy. I'm alive. I don't have many complaints. Obviously, like everybody, I have stresses. I have things I stress about, worries and concerns. But overall, things are good. But today I want to talk about, how we live in like this fast-paced, ever-changing world, that we live in. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things demanding our attention, right? From work deadlines to personal relationships to financial pressures to health concerns and just a list of potential stressors that seem endless. And in the face of so much uncertainty, it's just natural for us human beings to seek control, right? To grasp onto anything within our reach in an attempt to navigate this chaos that, can form around us. However, there lies this fundamental truth that we often overlook. I mean, there are aspects of life that are simply beyond our control. And in accepting this as a truth, we actually find liberation and peace in the mind. Psychologists have long studied the human tendency to seek control over our environment, right? Known as, we have this need for control. This innate drive stems from like a variety of psychological factors, including our desire for security, right? Predictability, and then of course, autonomy. When we feel like we're in control, we experience a sense of empowerment and confidence, which, can obviously enhance our overall being. However, on the flip side of all this, it could drive us to anxiety and frustration that can occur when we, encounter situations that defy our attempts to control them. And it's important to understand why we feel the need to control everything. And realistically, it just begins with recognizing the underlying fears and insecurities that drive these behaviors. At its core, the need for control just often stems from fear of the unknown and a desire to avoid discomfort or pain, right? We cling to the illusion of control as a means of shielding ourselves from life's uncertainties, believing that if we can just maintain a tight grip on our circumstances, we can prevent, undesirable outcomes from occurring. But the reality is, no matter how hard we try, there will always be elements in our lives that are beyond our control. Whether it's like a natural disaster, global economic shifts, things like that we can't control, from other people's actions to unforeseen events. There are countless factors that just lie outside the sphere of influence. Right now in the job market, it seems like it's forever changing and people are losing their jobs, and certain things you just can't control. A company comes in and says, that's it, There's nothing you can do about it. In our little, futile attempts to micromanage like every aspect of our lives, we only succeed in exhausting ourselves, right? And perpetuating a cycle of anxiety and stress. When I talk about this, it also often reminds me of a quote, and I might not be getting it right, from Mark Twain, who says, I've suffered many great challenges in my life. No, what is it? I have suffered many great it's not challenges. It's something worse. I've suffered many great disasters in my life, some of which have actually come true, meaning that, so much of what we do to ourselves sometimes never comes to fruition. But obviously in this case, there are often things that do happen, that do come to fruition. And again, they're just out of our control, So how do we break free from this cycle of control, that we have to have and embrace a more balanced approach to life? And the key really just lies in acceptance and letting go. I mean, acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity. It doesn't mean, being passive. It doesn't mean, just sitting around, just like, well, this is life. This is all it ever is going to be. But rather just involves like acknowledging reality as it is, without judgment or resistance to it. It just means recognizing that while we may not have control over our external elements, we do have control over how we choose to respond to them. Letting go of the need to control everything, it can kind of be a pretty liberating act, of self-compassion. And I have to be honest with you, I'm not one. This isn't easy for me. So I don't sit here and just go with the flow, let it all go. I mean, I've got turbulence in my life right now, and it's hard. It's hard, But when you have, this, more self-compassion toward yourself, it just allows you to release the burden of unrealistic expectation and maybe perfectionism, that we sometimes have, freeing up mental and, the emotional energy to focus on what truly matters to us. Like when we relinquish our grip on the reins of control, this need to control everything, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and opportunities from growth. We learn to trust in our own resilience, our ability to adapt, improving our adaptability, knowing that we have the inner resources to sort of navigate whatever challenges life may throw at us. And, moreover, it's like, it's embracing uncertainty. It fosters a deep sense of connection and empathy with others. See, we recognize that everyone is grappling with their own struggles and uncertainties. I mean, I know you don't see that because, we live in a world driven by social media where everybody's just doing amazing. But we all know that's not true. Everybody is struggling with their own challenges, grappling with their own, situations right now in their lives, their own uncertainties that may be coming down the pipeline, So when we know this, we cultivate compassion and understanding in our interactions with others. We learn to extend grace and kindness, knowing that, we are all in this journey of life together. So while we have this, this impulse to control, it's deeply ingrained within us. We have to be in control. It's important to recognize that true freedom really lies in letting go. Letting go. Understanding that it's just out of your control. And I know there's a lot of gray areas here, and I know people might argue with me depending on what exactly they might have to let go. I get it. I understand it. I'm never saying everything's white or black, but there are just certain things, certain things you just can't control. You can't control that relationship if it's ending, if that person doesn't want to be with you. You can't control that a company decides to lay off its employees. You can't control the actions of others around you. You just got to accept the inherent unpredictability of life and focus on what we can control, which is our thoughts, our attitudes, and our actions. We empower ourselves to live with a greater ease and authenticity when we do so. So let's just embrace the wisdom of surrender. Let's trust in the inherent order of the universe and find peace in the midst of life's uncertainties. If life was something that we just knew how the outcome was going to be all the time, we'd probably be bored. That we live this delicate balance of, wanting to know, but not wanting to know, right? There's that certainty you want to have, but there's a little bit of uncertainty we like, right? Certainty, I'm paying my bills and things are good. On a first date, a little uncertainty. I don't know where this is going to lead us. It's just a delicate balance. But remember, we can't control everything. And I don't know if we really should be able to control everything. Because again, if we could just control everything, we might not be forced into situations to make change. I remember hearing many years ago, and I've said it before in my podcast, nothing good comes from when we're comfortable, because when we're comfortable, we're complacent. Sometimes we need to be forced into a position to make change. And sometimes it comes at the expense of not being able to control that situation. And sometimes when you look back and you've been put in those situations, you realize it was for the better. It was for the better. All right. And that's what I got for you today. So if you're facing something tough right now and you're facing something hard and there's a lot of I don't know, well, just know what you know right now. And if it hasn't happened yet, then just focus on the now. You can't control what's going to happen. You only control how you can react to it. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for being with me. I appreciate the love, the support, some of the emails, some of the messages I'm getting, some of the, even the likes are nice. It's like, oh, cool. They're listening to that. I like that. I'm still terrible with social media. I don't know how to, I don't know. I almost deleted my Instagram today because I'm like, it just looks embarrassing. I'm just not that guy. Like I'll put some stuff there, but I can't focus on it. I found something I can maybe do where I can share some of my episodes without having to do the YouTube stuff and all that because life can get crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. I went off on a tangent here. As always, have a great weekend, and I got nothing but love for you.